Eyes on the Prize is one of the most remarkable documentary series ever produced by an American filmmaker. 20 years later, Henry Hampton's 14-hour narrative of African Americans' struggle for civil rights is more than an extraordinary television program. The images and interviews it presents have become our collective national memory of that era.
When you think about Little Rock, when you think about the bus boycotts in Montgomery, you think about Birmingham 1963, the images that you associate with that are coming from the Eyes on the Prize series.
Today those images reside in a special archive at Washington University, devoted to the life work of Henry Hampton. For years the material was stored at several sites in Boston where Hampton spent most of his creative life. An organization called the Civil Rights Project Incorporated owned the contents of the archive and wanted to find a permanent home for it. Washington University was chosen over several strong contenders, including the Library of Congress. The university built the archive in 2002 especially to house this collection, making it available to students, educators, researchers, and filmmakers around the world.
There are other collections in the U.S. that focus on African American history, but in terms of documenting the media aspect and documenting 20th century African American life, this is probably one of the largest.
The collection includes more than 75,000 items, hundreds of hours of film and videotape, photographs, scripts, storyboards, producer's notes, interviews, music, and narration. It arrived at Washington University in 3 semi-trucks. The collection even includes a very rare Steenbeck film editing table, an antique in today's production world, and one with special historical value.
This is the actual Steenbeck that Blackside and Hampton used for the Eyes on the Prize series, yes. The first series was shot and edited on film, and this is the machine that they used for that.
Henry Hampton was born in St. Louis in 1940. He attended St. Louis University High School and graduated from Washington University in 1961. He moved to Boston and founded his production company Blackside in 1968. It was while marching with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma, Alabama, that he first realized the power of moving pictures to tell stories, and started thinking about producing the series that became Eyes on the Prize.
He looked around as he was marching in Selma. You had, protesters, you had conflict, you had drama, you had good guys, bad guys. There was violence, people were getting beaten. There's a great story there to be told, and so I think that's stuck with him, and from that time he really was determined to create a program on the civil rights movement.
We're willing to be beaten for democracy, and you misuse democracy in the street. You beat people. Get out in front of the camera and go on.
I think Henry Hampton's vision was this epic of American democracy at work. And really what the civil rights movement was about was making American democracy inclusive and making it work. And the civil rights movement is this incredible story of that, and Henry Hampton captured it better than anyone.
We must come to see that the end we seek is a society at peace with itself.
Hampton was dedicated to telling stories as honestly as possible. Every fact in his documentaries had to be confirmed by 2 independent sources. He broke his producers into teams consisting equally of black and white, male and female, to catch prejudices or agendas before they found their way into his films.
This is Mose Wright. I am the uncle of Emmett Lewis Till.
The collection of interviews he and his team conducted tells the story of the movement in the voices of those who were there.
This collection, probably more than any other collection, documents the American civil rights movement. In particular, it documents the people that are not the big names. One of Henry Hampton's passions was to show that everyday people could make a difference in the movement.
We have all the interviews he did, including interviews with local leaders, people who never made it nationally, but who were extremely important in helping to push the civil rights movement. A lot of the civil rights movement is local, and that's really true, and a lot of what powered the civil rights movement were local activists, and we have a good archive of those people now.
Again, this is material that people have not seen before. not everything that is gathered could make it into the final program. So for every hour of footage, there's 10, 15 hours of footage that did not make it into that. As there was this transformation from film to video, a lot of stations were dumping their film, or they were just discarding them, throwing them in closets in the basements. And so they went around, across the country and literally recovered a lot of this film. So the images that you see now and are familiar with of the fire hoses, the dogs barking, the police dogs barking at protesters, those images are stuff that they recovered from the basements of local television stations.
And so getting that kind of material, which would otherwise just have been lost if somebody didn't take it in and preserve it and make it available, that's just a huge piece of history that would have been lost.
Having struggled with poor health most of his life, Hampton died in 1998 at the age of 58. Best known for Eyes on the Prize, he created 40 major films and 8 PBS series on topics ranging from the Great Depression, Malcolm X, the war on poverty, and the role of African Americans in science and the arts. His production company created a new generation of white and black filmmakers who went on to produce other programs on social issues. To America, he left a collection of stories, both disturbing and uplifting, about who we are as a people. The record of his life and work is preserved today in the town of his birth, St. Louis.